better utilize it. You can do a show of hands, whatever you like. You can use the chat, whatever works best for you guys. Ultimately, we want you guys to, you know, really get a handle on things and go from there. So I'm just going to set up our live stream here so we can get that going. Perfect. I see Jim and Ann have. That's great to see. And are you guys, so creating your filters is one thing, and tags and all that stuff. Utilizing them is another. So you've created them. Have you been utilizing them, and how have you guys found that? If you guys want to talk, you can talk. I'll allow you to talk. You just you can do it. And if you guys do need guidance on that, you know, whatsoever, I'd be more than happy to provide that guidance for you. So today we are going to be talking about the Facebook integration, right? So social media, you know, getting advertisements out there and, you know, generating your own business, it would be super beneficial for many of you guys. So for any of you that are on our automated system, you have that capability to do so. So we're going to walk through the, you know, setup of the ad and then what it looks like in the CRM system and what you've kind of got to do there. So I'm going to try to do it as quickly as I can for you guys. Of course, these are always recorded. I do already have a document all about Facebook creation and, you know, step by step by step. Now, the only thing from my document that in video that's going to be a little bit different is Facebook has some new policies for advertising when it comes to housing. So any of you guys that have been running ads know of this already. Those who aren't running ads do not know of this. So we'll discover that. So let me just finish this posting here. And give me 1 second, guys. I appreciate your patience in all of this. Has anyone had any success in the last week or so with any of your leads? You know, any motivation for others to keep going? Oh, we got a really talkative group today. So 1 more second here. So basically with your Facebook, you're going to want to have a business page. I'm sure most of you do. The one thing that's really great is that you do have that ability when you're running a Facebook campaign to run it on Facebook and Instagram, or just Instagram, or just Facebook. So really entirely up to you how you would essentially do that. Now, let me just, I just got to do one more share here for you guys, and it just has to go into the AgentLocator clients group here. And all right, perfect. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go into your business manager. So this would be, you know, your business.facebook.com. This kind of gets you into the back end of Facebook. Now, Facebook is always changing. You know, just as soon as you finally feel like you've got the hang of it, they're going to change it on you. So get used to that, get ready for it. 100%, it's going to happen. I'm just going to log in here. But for the most part, it doesn't change too much. And once you understand what the changes are, generally speaking, you should be good to go. All right, so there is different ways. So Facebook, again, this is one of the things that they've changed is this back-end interface. I cannot stand it whatsoever. So what you're going to do here is go into your ads manager. I want to go into create an ad, and I'm going to try to get into the ads manager. I don't want to get in here. I want to get into my ad manager. Okay. I don't want to learn more. So these are all old ads, but I don't know why it's not bringing me. So I apologize, guys. It's like, bring me into the ads manager. There we are. So go into more tools, then go into your ads manager, okay? So again, they're ever changing everything, and it's really super fun to learn all these things. So once you're in your ads manager in here, a lot of you guys will have, a business account already set up. You may need to do stuff. Now I'm restricted to do any kind of advertising, but that's normal. I have different ad accounts that I can use. So I'm going to try to choose a different one and see if it gives me that same error. Facebook will all of a sudden decide, if your ads, let's say, they don't like your ads and they feel like you're violating any policies, they're going to shut it down. So it can definitely be frustrating for sure. And often enough, when they do shut it down, it's easier to get a passport than it is to get Facebook to unlock any account. So we'll just do this. So we've got 2 raised hands. So Wade, you can talk if you like.
Hey, Crystal. Yeah, I was actually just going to ask about that. I've got all of my ads have been shut down because of the new rules that came out in December, and I didn't go in and change any of them. And so I have that error coming up that you've got here, but I haven't gone in to try to fix it or create new ads. Can I not? Is it just those ads that are shut down, or are they restricting me from advertising at all?
If it's restricted, like if you're jumping in, sometimes there's a reason why they've tried to bill you and they can't bill you, or the ads they find, sometimes you can fix it. So if it's just saying restricted or, whatever, it'll be red here. There's often you can go in and just edit the ad to be able to do that.
I think it was because of the rules, right? So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's again, like I don't
rule.
even know why this here has locked me out, to be quite honest with you, because I haven't done anything on here. I haven't been running ads. I haven't done anything, and I went into the back door, which is like I have 2 Facebook accounts that I use. And the reason why is because they locked out of one ad account, and then I had to go into another one. So I just, the way around that was more or less is I'm just going to create another account and give myself access. Yes.
So a while back, there was some changes to having to check that your ads were for real estate.
Yeah.
Now, are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that last caller might be having that issue where you got to go back in.
You have to, yeah. You have to. I hate this.
Yeah, I think that was the issue, but I think I'm locked out of doing any kind of advertising now.
Yeah, so if it does kind of do that, it's tricky for sure, and I feel like this just wants me to lock my account.
If you've got it set up right, they should have allowed you to go back in. I had the same problem, and then when I finally got that there's a spot.
Yeah, you go back into the ad. So one of the things, so we'll walk through it. So one of the things is you now have to pick an ad category, where that category is essentially housing, right? So you have to specify. Now, the rules for housing now, we used to be able to put in postal code, and kind of target really with respect to a specific area, right? And now we can't. You cannot discriminate whatsoever when it comes to any of that. So you have to have your ad wide open. So there, I just had to create 2-factor. Now it's letting me in. So there's that. So now you have to basically pick, let's say, Toronto and at least 15 miles surrounding Toronto. You cannot just say, I only want Toronto, which is kind of silly in my opinion, but that's the rules. You also can't exclude anyone anymore. So we used to be able to exclude people that, we would exclude realtors. We don't want to advertise to realtors. Why would we advertise to realtors? That doesn't make sense. right? But now you have to advertise to all the realtors. So yeah, it's basically, we used to try to do it so that, you know, we don't want to market and spend money on our ads that are going to our competition only for them to see what we're doing. But now it's just like full, like, you know, everyone can see anything at any given time that you're doing. So that's always fun. So yeah, I guess one of the rules that they've updated is now you have to have two-factor authentication. So now that I've set that up, I am good to go. So we'll go through kind of creating your ad here and kind of what that looks like. We will be creating a form. So when we're doing lead generation on Facebook, it is through the form. And then what that looks like, you know, feeding those leads into your CRM system, getting those leads to receive listings from you, or maybe you're advertising a listing and you're trying to generate leads off that, you know, something that you can do with respect to that as well. So once you've gone into your ads manager, so again, kind of going back into that Mickey Mouse way of getting back into your ads manager, you're going to go into and just click create. Now, for this campaign, there's a lot of different objectives that you can do in here. Facebook is a great tool. You can do brand awareness. So you can do things. So like brand awareness, for example, is trying to get more page likes, right? You can run a likes campaign and telling people why they should like your page if you want to do that. For this case, we're going for the lead generation. We're trying to generate leads off Facebook. So we want to name your campaign. You're definitely going to want to do this. This is just going to be because you're going to have a bunch of campaigns in here. You want to be able to name those campaigns so you know which campaign is what. So let's just go, let's pretend we're doing buyers and Markham, just as an example. You can name your ad set as well. So buyers and Markham. This is just going to help you down the road, and we can just do the same. We'll just call them all the exact same thing and then go continue. So once that's done, we're going to start building out the ad. All right. So we now you can do, you know, templates, that sort of things if you want to, but we're going to go into that special ad category. So this is where you have to do it for housing. And if you keep doing it without it, your ad's going to be pulled down, and then basically they're going to shut down your ad account, which is no fun. So we're going to choose the housing. So this is anything to do with real estate and housing opportunities. You probably don't want to do an A/B test. It will definitely get, it'll be expensive. Let's put it that way. So you're running two side-by-side campaigns, and Facebook is deciding which one is going to be better for you. So we're going to just not select that. So we're just making sure we're selecting the housing. We're going into auction. That's all we're doing. We don't need a campaign budget optimization. This is if we had two ad sets. So maybe I had this main level, and then I had buyers and sellers. In here, it would just kind of take my budget and spread it, you know, optimize that budget where it's best used. So then we're going to go next on here. We are then going to pick the page. So we're going to do instant forms, right? So we're going to do the instant forms for this. We are then going to pick the page that we want to do it. So let's just, apparently I don't have, let's just do this one. There we go. So there's the page that essentially the ad would run off of. You're then going to go down and select your budget. So your daily budget. How much do you want to advertise a day on Facebook? So we encourage like no less than $5 a day, right? So, you know, $7 is a good number. 5 isn't bad. It's just you don't go below that. Okay, just try your best not to go below that. Now, when it comes to the start date, I don't encourage that you put an end date in there. So Facebook and Google, they all have algorithms, right? So if you put an end date in here and you forget that you put an end date in here, and let's say your campaign is just performing phenomenally, and then all of a sudden it stops because you put an end date in there. When you go to start it again, it's kind of like it goes back into that learning phase, and you may not get the same results again. So it's better to have a start date, leave it open, because you can always manually turn your ad off, okay? So we've got that. We're now going to create the audience. So for one, we have to keep this open. We cannot say, you know, we all know that the average 18-year-old is not buying a house, but Facebook doesn't care. You can't discriminate based on their age, really. So we haven't really seen much of a negative effect when it comes to this. Just, you know, we haven't had a lot of complaints of getting like 18-year-olds signing up for listings and things. They can't be bothered. They're not interested anyway, right? So we're then going to pick our location, and that's where you're just going to edit that. You can do people living in or recently in this location. You can do people who are living in this location. So it really depends on what your goal is with regard to this. So it can be, you know, however you want that set up. We're then going to just type in the city. So in this case, we're targeting people that are in Markham. So we're going to select Markham. And just keeping that 15-mile radius as a bare minimum, okay? We can't, unfortunately, bring this down. So when you're targeting Markham, you're actually targeting a good chunk of the GTA when you're doing that. So going back down, we're not doing any kind of detailed. You can do it a little bit based on their interest. So if people are interested in real estate, but we can't exclude people, okay? So just keep that in mind. We're going to do automatic placements. Now, you guys can do manual placements. So if you want, and this is where you're choosing your platform. So if you only want your ad to run on Instagram, or you want it on Facebook only and not Instagram, this is where you're going to do it. You also have the ability of where that ad is showing. So we kind of just say, you know, let it go with the suggested. They give you the top 10 placements, but if you really want to specify the only places you want your ads to be seen, this is where you would do it, kind of going in there. So once you've set all that up, now one thing I want to notice for you guys, a lot of you guys on this right-hand side here are going to see this. Don't pay attention to that. It's not accurate. I think Facebook just wants more money from you, because we'll have this, and then we've got clients at some point that got like leads at $3 and they're getting a ton of them, right? So I don't know what Facebook uses for this. So don't be alarmed if you see that. So when we go next here, this is where we're going to be going into our ad creative. Okay, so this is where we're going to be pulling all this stuff in and creating the visual for our ad. Now, if we are doing on Instagram, you are going to connect. I just use selected page. So it's actually going to use this Facebook page to run on Instagram if you don't have an Instagram account. This is an old Facebook page I have. And then we're going to go into the create ad. You can do single image or video or carousel. So if you're doing a listing ad, 100% carousels are great because you can showcase a few images or as many images as you want to go with it, right? So we do carousel. So these are the ones where you see the carousel images. But in this case, we are just doing the single image or a video. So then we're going to go down into the creative. So I don't want that. I don't want that image. So I'm going to add media. Okay. So when you add media, you can add an image now or a video, of course. You may have account images that you already have that you want to use. You can also upload images from your computer, of course. You will also have stock photos that are available. I believe these are, you know, by Getty Images or iStock, what have you. This is going to take a minute to load, but you definitely have this ability to do so. So let's just type in house, for example, and see what populates for us. And I'm just going to pick something simple, just as an example here. I think there's just so many pictures in here that it always just, it can be a process. Okay. So let's just pick this one right here. Your picture will play a part in drawing attention to your ad, 100%, right? Like consider yourself when you're browsing, like what grabs your attention. So just remember that when you are using an image, you know, those images play a large part in your ad itself. You then have your primary text. Okay, so the primary text is the one that's going right up here at the top. This here is going to be what they see above, right? So you want it to stand out and what your services are offering essentially. So I do actually have something that I will share with you guys as well. Yes, you can definitely have recordings. This is going to be recorded. So I'm going to actually share in the chat with you guys this bold text generator as well. So if we go in here and that, so whenever you see an ad, if I'm in here, you'll notice there's no option to actually edit the text, right? So it's always just plain text, but you can actually do it, you know? So in this case, for example, you want to attract your audience. And when you're doing an ad on Facebook, especially if you're just trying to generate just some generalized leads, do not bait and hook. Make it a real life offering, something that's realistic, something that somebody would actually be looking for, right? So, so for example, if I was just to do like, I'm just doing it in the other screen here. So mark in that bold text, mark homes under, I don't even know if this exists, but I'm just going to put it, so I put it under 900,000. You know, that's something that if this exists, this is something that is realistic that people would be looking for, right? So you can see here, then it goes bold, you know, see the latest. Okay, so something simple like that. You guys can add emojis. If you have your keyboard shortcodes, you do have the little emoji icon here. But on your keyboard, if you are, I don't know how you do it on an Apple, but I know on Microsoft computer, you just hit the Windows button and the period, and this little thing pops up for you. So it makes it a little bit easy. I don't know if that's the same on a MacBook or what have you. So I only know to mine. So you can actually go through and find an image that, you know, you can search for an image. I don't even know what that is, but let's just go into, see if we can find a house, just as an example. Because you used to, there we go. So if you just start typing house, there we go. So now we've got the house in there. I'm going to close that. So there's the house. We then need to get this right here. So the headline, this is where that's going to go here. So we're going to do it again. Markham listings under 900K. And there we go. There's that there. And they're going to sign up. So you can change this call to action, whatever it is, right? They can subscribe, they can sign up, they can get the offer, you know, whatever you want on there. So they can sign up for that. We're then going to use the instant form in this case. You guys are more than, you know, welcome if you want to use like the chat and what have you. When you're using the form, this is what's going to feed that lead right into your system, okay? Now the instant forms, you're going to want to create the form. Okay, so every form you use is a separate integration in your CRM system. So that's why you want to use a different form. So every time you create a form or create an ad, make sure you're creating a form or using a form that's not already being used in another campaign that you may be running. So we'll just go through the process of creating a form. We can continue. If you guys are running a seller campaign on here, you can no longer request their address, which is bonkers, but you cannot do that anymore. Your ad, they'll stop your ad for going out. So let's just go, we're gonna just call that Markham Buyers as the form name in here. We're going for more volume. So there's the image there. There's my picture. You can do the greeting, which is, you know, listings and notifications.
Hey, Crystal, if we can't ask for addresses in a seller campaign anymore, would it be better to just redirect a link towards our AgentLocator form that collects those?
You could, yeah, you can do it, definitely do a traffic campaign in that case. It wouldn't be lead gen. It would be a traffic campaign.
So would that change things within Facebook in terms of who sees it and all that kind of stuff?
No, because you go through the same process when you're creating an ad on Facebook. It's just a matter of what the ad's job is in the back end. Is it going to generate a lead? Is that ad, when they click your ad, is it just driving you somewhere else? And in that case, that would be a traffic ad where someone clicks it and it's bringing them somewhere else.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So you can, because it's so weird. I don't like, anyway, you just kind of follow the rules. You kind of mosey on in. Because the first time I saw that, I looked at it, I was like, where is the address? Like, how come, like, what's the point of having these leads coming in if there's no address? You don't even know where they're from. So then there are people that are potentially interested. And what's great here at the end of the form anyway, is you can bring them to a link so they can click, visit the website, get a, don't want to wait, get a generalized value here, right? So then you can bring them over there. So there is additional, so I'm not sure here if I have to add that. It'll tell you if I didn't do it correctly. We are going to get questions from these leads. So we do want to get their email, their phone name, and we do want their contact field of their phone number. So we're then going to just move this up so their name goes first, their full name, email, phone number, that sort of thing. You will want to let your people know what they're doing. Signing up below. Receive. Great. I don't know why I'm worried about my punctuation. Regular updates on via email and SMS regarding so one of the things that, and especially if you guys are using Twilio in the system, a lot of these providers, what they're actually looking for right now is that the person signing up is agreeing to be contacted, because just because they give you their contact information is no longer good enough. They want more solid evidence that we're saying, hey, that you're going to be receiving updates via email and SMS regarding real estate listings in Markham. So then it just kind of covers all that. These people are signing up. They're fully aware that they're going to be contacted. A lot of people won't read it anyway, right? So, but we have to, just a sense of encouragement just to put it in there so you know that you're covered when it comes to that. So once you've kind of built it out, we'll see if it allows me to publish. I know there is one. I have to include my privacy policy. That's what I did. So the privacy policy is going to be on your lead gen site or your branded site. It's wherever you're sending them the listings from. So for most of you, it will be your lead gen site. So what you're going to do is go into your lead gen site. And then at the very bottom, you're going to notice there's the link for the privacy policy. Come on. My computer is not making me right now. Sorry guys, I got like a ton of pages open right now. So we go down here, you've got that privacy policy. You're really just copying this. This is all you need to copy to satisfy the Facebook. This one right here. And you're just putting that right there. And there you go. So they have that there, and you can add a custom disclaimer if you want. You can do the completion message as well. So the completion message is, thanks, you're all set. And this is where you can go, don't want to wait for your full evaluation. If you're doing a seller, go here to get an instant idea of what your home may be worth online. So then you can drive them to your website after to the landing page. So if you want to do the forms and this, same idea. So there you can enter that. You can then do a call to action. So some people do view website, some people do call to business, and they can call you, whatever you want. If it is your website, again, you're just putting in the URL for your website. Or in this case, I would probably do it so that it's already filtered to listings in Markham, right? So if you do that on your website, you're basically just going into the home page and you would just filter. So if we go Markham, in this case, you search. If you're doing a price point, definitely, right? So if we want to do the price point, and that price point, let's just go 901 on there. And if we apply that, we've now got everything. Now, if they're family homes, things like that, you may want to do, you know, it's just so it's for its houses, you know, entirely up to you. But once you filter it out to get the listings on there, again, you're just copying this whole URL, and that's what you're going to use. And going back here, and so for example, in this one, I would just do that. It looks all funky on your end, but this is what's going to go. So we're going to do publish, and oh my gosh, it's making me do this. So the one thing that is great is that it'll always tell you when you're missing a step. It won't allow you to publish this if you're missing a step and then pull it back and say it doesn't, you know, match what we're looking for. So oops. So I'm not actually doing this, so I'm just doing it very basic. So it's more or less, I would say, kind of put yourself, what would you want to be informed on when somebody is going to fill out a form that you're using? So you'll be able to see here, you can kind of go through what your form actually looks like, and then kind of go from there. So now, once this is all done, you would publish this. I am not publishing it because I'm not running this ad, essentially, but you will publish it. Now, for some of you, you're going to create a test lead. So we're going to go over now the creation in the CRM system, and you will create a test lead. And then some of you will need to go back into Facebook, and I'll show you how, and look up your integrations to allow for permissions with the CRM system. It only happens every so often. It doesn't happen every time, and I don't know why Facebook picks and chooses which ones it does it to and which ones it doesn't. I don't know. Now, does anyone, before we move into the CRM aspect of this, does anyone have any questions so far on the Facebook that I can address while we're here in the Facebook? No? We're good? Perfect. So in your CRM, the first thing you're going to want to do is create the source. You want to be able to identify when that lead comes in from Facebook, that they came from Facebook and from which form, because some of you may end up running multiple campaigns. So if we go in here into your settings, you have sources. So this one here, what I'm going to do is just add a source and call it, Facebook buyers Markham, and then just go save. So now we've got that as a source in here. The next thing we're going to want to do is create that integration. So you're going to go into your settings and you go to Facebook integration. If you haven't done it already, you're going to add it here. And I have a feeling, well, we'll see. Again, this might go into my multiple accounts, but we'll see. So if you haven't added it, you'll add it there. And then if you're needing to add an integration, we are going to, I have to go back. I have to add my other account in here for you guys. So when you do it, you're basically just giving Facebook permission of which pages. Okay, so now I have this page in there. We're going to go yes for all of this and then go done. And I'm going to miss ducking. So now we've linked, and then we're going into Facebook here. So now I've got 2 accounts now linked. So then when we go into the add new integration here, you're going to go into the page. So in this case, it's this page. And then you're going to select the form that you used. Okay, so in this case, we use the Markham buyers form. Once you've used the form once, the system will not let you use it again. So you can never, accidentally use it twice inside our system, but you can definitely accidentally use it twice in Facebook. So if you're done with a campaign and you're what have you in here, you can always just turn off the integration or delete it so that it becomes available again. So then you're going to set up your CRM system. So for this case, we're doing lead type. This is a buyer campaign. So we're going to pick the buyer lead in here. This is where we're going to identify through source. So we're going to do that Facebook. We did the Markham buyers, Facebook buyers Markham. And then we're now going to set all of this up. So Harvinder is asking, if we run campaign on Facebook along with Google ad, do we have to pay etc. money to AgentLocator? So Harvinder, not if you're running your ad yourself. You're going to pay Facebook, but you won't pay AgentLocator. So if you're doing this for yourself, no, you're not paying. And this is available when you are on our automated system, right? So yeah, you learn the tools. It's something that will take time for many. I don't create Facebook ads very often, very more. That's why I had a couple hiccups in there. But once you kind of learn it, it's kind of like riding a bike. It's a tool that you can use, right? And it does ever so often change, nonetheless, and evolve. And but as long as you know the general foundation, it's just going to be that much easier for you when those things happen. So here we have the lead type, home buyer, the source, and then again, this is where we're going to be setting up the criteria. So in this case, we're going to do the city. We're going to do Markham because Markham is where we want them to get the listings from. That's where they're signing up for listings. Now, if you're doing, an ad that's, let's say, Durham region, for example, where you've got multiple cities, you just comma separate them, right? So if it's York region homes priced under, what have you, if you wanted to do it that way, it's very broad, but you can definitely do it. But if you wanted to do it and then you have Markham and then Newmarket, for example, they're comma separated, no spaces, okay? Comma separated, no spaces. When you're doing that. Same with the community. So if you really wanted to specify community and target in, so let's say we're doing Markham, but Stouffville in Markham, then you would put that community in here. Now, it is as Treb would consider that as a community, not, Swiss Church, Stouffville, like exactly how Treb would have it, essentially, because that's how the search is created up in our system. So it's just kind of, it has to coordinate and be matchy-matchy. Now you're going to do your type of home. So in this case, it's, let's just eliminate the condos. So we're going to go townhouses. So I guess we can do a condo, town, detached, duplex, link, and a semi. There we go. So we got all that. You don't need to do tags necessarily unless you really want to, because we've already indicated the source. Some will, what others will do is they just have a primary source of Facebook and then they identify through tags. You would have to then go through that same process of creating the tag first, though, to be able to do that. I prefer the source this way, but everyone is different 100% on what they do. When you have your lead gen website, you're just going to select that one there. This is the site that they're going to be getting those listings from. And then, of course, your price range. Now, I would definitely do your maximum and then always have a minimum. And I encourage that you do it as 100,000 as your kind of your baseline, even 50,000. But you want to exclude the rentals, and there are some rentals, around $50,000 a month in Markham, I imagine, the luxury ones that pop up every now and then. But those, always have that minimum, or you'll end up getting a lot of leases going out to your lead. You'll see they'll get an influx of properties for lease, not properties for sale. Now you do have your send listings right away option here. This is yes or no. So either way, they will get listings, okay? The yes option basically sends them listings right away. So as soon as they hit submit on your Facebook form, they've got listings in their inbox. It's scary fast how fast it works. So you're always fulfilling your offer right away, which is super important. If that person's engaged in the moment, fulfill that offer in the moment. Now you have this option where it says no. This is going to delay the listings by 20 minutes. So they're still going to get the listings. It's just delaying it. what this is great for, and what I've done or guided others with their campaigns, is when you have a listing, right? So let's say you're doing an advert and you're doing lead generation, focusing on a listing that you have. Your first action would generate the business. You would create a campaign, which I'll show you how to do, that then sends them the information about that listing first. So perhaps a link to your website with all the listing details. And then in that email, you can say, also, by the way, I've also set you up to receive similar homes in that area should this one not be quite what you were looking for. Either way, you know, and however you want to formulate that. So then you're giving them what they've signed up for, but you're also taking back a little bit more in return. Because if that property is not a good fit, they're not just walking away. You're actually going to continuously nurture them through other properties that may be ideal for them as well. So in this example, I'm going to go yes, so that the listings come right away, and then we're going to save it. So once you've saved it, it will show in your integrations list here. It tells you when, and again, if you ever wanted to delete integrations, you can if you need to free up that form. So once we've created the integration, you then want to build a campaign of some sort. Maybe like always, but not always. It really depends on you and what you're wanting to do. So if we do the campaign, and this also goes into the automatic assignment, right? So if you guys have a system that helps pick up the pieces a bit and helps you leverage leads, so why not use it? So for your first one here, you're just going to create a new campaign, and let's just go, we'll just call this Markham Buyers. Now, what's great here is, like, let's say, before I fill out there, is that you can clone a campaign. So if you're doing one for Markham, one for Pickering, one for wherever, you can just simply clone that campaign. So literally you just have to change a couple words in the SMS or emails that are going out, so you're not having to recreate the whole thing every time. So it makes it a little bit easier for you guys. You will create it as a relative date, and I do silent hours on the actual campaign. Same with the stopping clauses. I do it on the actual items. Really depends on what it is. Actually, this one here, we can probably just do it to stopping clauses. Stopping clauses are great. It's going to stop the campaign for you, so you don't have to remember. So if somebody responds to your text message, or you set up a meeting with them, it shuts the campaign off. Then yeah, nothing worse than sending somebody a message or an email after you just spoke to them saying, I haven't been able to get a hold of you, right? So here we are, the Markham Buyers again. So let's just say the first message, really what you guys should be doing is the opt-out message. That's what Twilio and all the carriers, they're looking for, is when somebody signs up, giving them that option to opt out. I'm going to skip that step right now. So, but if you were doing it, you would just basically do that. You know, thank you for signing up for Markham listings. If you've received this registration in error, please, reply stop to unsubscribe. Something like that. They just want to be able to see that you're giving people the option. Although they've got the option by not filling out the form, but they need it to go a little bit further. So this first one after the opt-out, if you guys are doing that, this is where you would essentially communicate, hey, and I know short codes, requesting, listings in Markham under 900K via Facebook. Inbox for, whoops, and then their email, and that will pull their email. And then you can put your name or what have you. This is just something, an example, right? So we would put silent hours on a text message for sure, but if you're building this out with emails, that's why I prefer to do it. So silent hours are like what hours, between what hours is your SMS not going to go. So if someone signs up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not sending them a message at 3 o'clock in the morning. The opt-out message is fine to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you probably wouldn't want it to look like a personal conversation at 3 o'clock in the morning, unless you're up and, that's just the way you roll. That's entirely up to you. So we go and have our morning, and I'm just kind of making this so it's like a 12-hour thing. You do it whatever hours you work. or whatever you would feel would be acceptable at that point. So I'm just going to leave this as one action just to show you guys, but you can keep building off your campaign, of course. And then we have the automatic assignment. So this is where it's going to automatically assign this campaign to the lead when they sign up on Facebook, right? So we don't have to think about it. It just does it for us. So we now then need the Facebook buyers Markham. That's the campaign we're using. Don't worry about any of these unless you're just, the only reason you would need these, or at least this one, for example, is if you were doing the source was a generic Facebook source, or just was Facebook, and then you were identifying through tag. Okay, that's the only reason why. Otherwise, if you create the source just as, you know, what it is, then you just select that. So we're just going to update. So now we've got the integration set up. And the campaign. There's got to be at least one question. You guys, one of the things with doing this is you will the first time, second time, third time, it may take you a little while to do this 100%. Even the first times I was doing it, like, oh, I start doing it, I was like, shoot, forgot to create the source, go back, create the source. Like there's always steps that were like, oh, I tested the form, forgot to create a campaign, gotta go back, create campaign. So it is a process that you will get, and you know, practice makes perfect with anything. And as you guys see, I still get hiccups, but I'm able to kind of navigate myself through, because it's like riding a bike. You just kind of, once you learn the tools, you'll be good to go. So we can now see the campaign here. And then what we need to do is go into Facebook. So I'm going to go into my page, wherever. Why are you not letting me get out of here? Where's my pages? Come on. Fun. Just go home. Maybe it'll give it to me there. So I'm going to go to my page. Again, it's going to give you a little bit of a runaround. We need to test the form. I personally do not care for this new Facebook, but what we're going to do on your business page, you go to Publishing Tools. Okay, so you're going to go to Publishing Tools. And when that decides to load, we're going to go down into the bottom. And we're going to go to the forms. So the lead ad forms, we're going to go to the forms library. And it's going to make me do the try the business suite. Yay me. And there's my Markham buyers. I'm going to look at it. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to action. No, I don't want to boost it. So there's usually a developer testing tool, okay? Cancel, I don't want to create an ad with that. So why are you not allowing me to? Oh, there's my button. There's my test form. Sorry, guys. It's just changing it. So the one thing that you guys are going to want to do, so when you test your form, you're going to want to make sure that the email that you're using is always different. So it doesn't have to be a good email. It doesn't have to, like, unless you have emails and you want to make sure they're going out and that you receive them okay. But it just has to try to be a different email. Because our system will count a duplicate lead based on the email. So you'll wonder what's going on, and then it just doesn't work. So if we go in here, I'm going to change this, and let me just change it to AA. We'll see if that works. And then we're going to go submit. And we'll see if we'll see what happened, guys. We'll see what happened. Now, again, sometimes you'll have to go back, and this might be where I have to go back and set up the integrations aspect into the page. So if we go into our business tools, and if you go into the, I think it's business settings. their business settings or something. It's one of the two. No, that's not where I want to go. It's just making sure your CRM system is set up. I'm just going to see if here, if we do CRM system, so it's connected. So I know it's connected to the CRM in that sense. So let me just click this one here again. I'm going to go down. Now it's going to pull me. I've already created a lead, so it should bring me to a link that I really want to see, which is a better link. And I know I have it somewhere that I will share with you guys so that you don't have to jump through these hoops to test your form, okay? So this is the link I'm looking for right here, this developer testing tool. So this developer testing tool is so much easier than jumping through those ads that way. You just pick your page and then you pick your form. So I'm going to do my, that's not the page I want this page, so mark them. Preview, I've already got this one, so I have to delete the lead. Okay, I'm just going to make sure it didn't come in late. No, but I could have that email somewhere in there. So once you delete the lead, so I always say delete the lead, refresh the page. Okay, just kind of make it a rule of thumb. Delete the lead, refresh the page, preview your form, then do it again. So I'm going to try to do a different email. Actually Crystal plus and this better work. There we go. So now that lead has fed into the system. Okay, so we got to work the second. The first time it could have been that the email was, I already had that email as a dummy email somewhere in the system, but now it's come in. So when we go into the lead here, we'll be able to see a few things. We're going to be able to see that the listing search has already been created for this lead. We're also going to see that instantly that lead has got their listings, right? That's how crazy, silly fast that is. And then we know that this person is on a campaign. So this one is because it's assigned to like everything. But this one here, for example, the Markham buyers, we know that it's on this campaign. So in 1 minute, or I think I have it, I was going to get, so I'm going to force this out. And there we go. So it pulled my inbox, it pulled all that in here, that sort of thing for you guys. So again, just to kind of recap, you're going to go into your business.facebook. You're going to jump through the hoops that Facebook makes you go. If you go into the more tools, then you're going into your ads manager. Okay, so once you're in your ads manager, that's where you're going to be building out your ads, your buyers campaign, you know, where this top level, you're just kind of naming it. You're doing a lead generation ad, of course, making sure you're selecting housing. You're going to do lead generation, make sure you label your ads as well. So when you're doing it, you're naming them so we know it's buyers in Markham or whatever your ad is about, because if you have multiple ads in there, you need to be able to identify which ad is which. You're then going to be using the instant form to feed the leads through the form. You're choosing the page that you're creating that's advertising that ad essentially. You're then putting your daily budget in. Again, not ending it. So not setting an end date on it is recommended. You can if you want, but it's recommended that you don't. You're then going to choose a location and make sure that you're including up to 15 miles surrounding that location. You're leaving your ad open 100% up to any age category. You can do some details based on interest if you'd like to. So if you want to express people that are interested in real estate, things like that, you can. You can do manual or automatic placements. Automatic is, you know, Facebook will place that ad strategically, or Instagram kind of puts it where it needs to be to encourage the most amount of clicks and traffic to your ad itself. You're then going and in your buyers for market, this is where your ad creative is. So kind of letting your people know what they're signing up for, kind of being, as clear as you can and transparent as you can. When you're doing that, images may play a big part. You can change that call to action, just depends on what you're doing. And then going through and creating the form. So the great thing with the form, again, is just really the only thing that you really need to know about the form, because it'll tell you if you're missing something, is identifying that by signing up, they're going to be contacted by SMS and a phone and or email kind of thing. So making them aware of that, acknowledging that for the most part. So that's important with the form, and just all their contacts. So it's like their full names. You just got to add that phone number option on there. So again, so that's really, pretty much it. Once your ad, you've kind of gone and you can kind of look what it is. You can't do it here, but once it's kind of turned on, you can share the link. And then you can kind of see what it actually looks like online, what people, or you can share it with people like, hey, check this out kind of thing, right? So they can actually approve or agree to see your ad. So once you set all that up, then it's going into your CRM system. The first step is creating the source, if you need to, for that specific target. You're then going into your Facebook integration. You're then making sure you've got your account set up. If you need to add more account, you can add as many as you need to. And you can always refresh them too. So if you add a new page, you refresh it, you can now select that page. You're then adding your integration. So when you're adding your integration, again, what you're doing is you're choosing the page that form is from, the ad is running on, and the form that you used. And then you're just filling out the appropriate fields. So, what type of lead it is, where they're going to be getting listings. Again, remembering cities and communities are comma separated, no space if you're doing it that way. And then the site that they're getting listings and the type of home. Remembering that send listings right away is yes, it sends it like instantly right away, whereas no will delay it by 20 minutes. So if you are running a seller's campaign or a listing campaign for one of your active listings, you probably want to delay this if you're going to set it up this way. And then setting up your campaign. So your campaign editor here, if you wanted to clone an existing one, for example, if I created one that was like Ajax, I'll just show you how easy it is. But for most part, when you're going to create that, is you just clone it. I'm going to clone this one, just clone it. It's going to tell you that it's a clone right here. And then let's just say I want this to be Ajax instead. So save that. And then all you would have to do is change this, right? So I would change this to Ajax. So that's one way you can clone it. But once you've done it, it's just remember to go into that automatic assignment and choosing the source so that this campaign does automatically assign to those leads. So hopefully that helps you. Do you guys have any immediate questions? I imagine as you give it a go, I will send you, and actually I'll do it right now in this chat. So anyone that's in here, click on it, open it up. That way you have it on your computer. If you do need it, you just reach out to me if you accidentally didn't do that or just didn't do it, but I have it all here. So the only thing that's going to be missing from my tutorial in this drive is the new housing rules in those target areas. So everything that we kind of went over with respect to the radius, the age, you can't eliminate people, and you have to choose that housing category. Those are the only things that's really different from the video that I have. And then I also have in this file as well, there is some images that already have like some essentially watermarks on them that you can download for Facebook, like you use them. So it'd be like list of homes under X amount of dollars, that kind of thing. So let me just post that here. So there is a whole drive. It's like 4 steps, step-by-step instructions on doing things. Again, I don't even know when I created this, Facebook changed the way that they look inside, which is super fun. But that is really, really it. Do you guys have any immediate questions that I can answer for you? By all means, like if you guys are giving this a go and you need to just look over everything, second set of eyes on it, I'd happy to take a look at it just to make sure that you are good with it. Yeah, any questions I can immediately answer for anyone in here? No? We're all good? I try to slow down a little bit to make you guys, I try to cram it all in an hour. It is like, it's a whole lot, but you'll find with that Facebook, I did try to break it down in step by step by step by step. So the first one is, you know, setting up a lead converting ad. And then the step 2 is integrating the Facebook with your CRM system. Then step 3 is testing your Facebook. And then step 4 is the auto campaign. So again, I tried to break it up as easy as I possibly could. Yes, you will need a business page to run any kind of ad on Facebook. You cannot do it through a profile. It has to be a business page that you're doing it on. Anybody else with regard to questions? Are we all done for today? I feel like it's been a busy week. That's for sure. Alrighty, well, I wanted to thank you guys all for watching today. And as mentioned, you know, just email me if you have any questions or need further support. Ron, I can send, so what I'll do is I will we'll be adding it to YouTube. So if you just go onto YouTube and subscribe to AgentLocator, that's like your best bet. So when you subscribe to AgentLocator, we don't just throw garbage up there. So it's going to be our live dialing sessions. So if you miss that, that will be on there. These leveragings are going to be on there. Any pop-up webinars are going to be on there. So like the TikTok one that was held yesterday, which is a super amazing webinar Addo did. I encourage you to watch that one. But if you subscribe to AgentLocator, then you get the notification every time we do it. So if you miss something, it's always there and you got the notification, so you can go watch it later. So hopefully everyone has a great day. Yes, the copy of the webinar will go out tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be on YouTube by end of day tomorrow as well. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. And if you need anything, by all means, just shoot me an email. It's always crystal@agentlocator.ca. We'll see you guys next week.